Hello guys, in this video we are going to work with strings and learn some properties about them. So these are just some string functions that you can use. There are a lot of different functions that you can use with strings too, but these are, I think, the most important ones. There's also substring, which I didn't include, but you can also study them from Google. So let's start with character arrays. Let's have a string and this containing this is a string. So A is containing this string, which contains this is a string. Then let's print out A. Okay, everything works fine. We print out our string. Now let's continue by applying this function. So in order to apply one of these functions, you need to use dot. So we have our variable A, right? After putting A, you need to use dot. So our syntax is you should have a string, and after the string, you should use this dot. After that dot, type the function, which is character array. As you can see, it autocompletes. So character array. So this basically takes a number, and it will give out a specific index in a string. And what I mean is, if I put 2, let's say, we get I. That's because in the second index of this string, the second index of the string contains I. So indexes in Java in coding works like this. T is the 0th index. Okay, this is the 0th index. H is the first index and I is the second index. Pay attention that I started from 0 and I didn't start from 1. So T is the 0th index, H is the first index, I is the second index of the string, S is the third index, space is the fourth index, so we count spaces too as characters. This I is the fifth index, this S is the sixth index, and it goes on like that. So strings are consisted of indexes that start from 0. So when we try to print out the second index of this variable A, which contains string, we would get 0, 1, 2. So the second index is I, we get I printed out. So how this works is this. When we apply this function, this whole thing gets replaced by I, because this whole expression is actually equals to I, right? So that's why this whole expression gets replaced by I. You can think of it as that way too. So we get A, we get dot, we get character at second 2. So we need to get the second index of the variable A. What is the second index? 0, 1, 2. So I is the second index. Therefore, this whole thing is getting replaced by I. In that way, we print out I. Now let's see this includes function. The syntax is the same. We use dot, but in this case, we type includes parentheses. So this takes a string. We are not gonna give it out any position. We are just gonna use one parameter. So what it will take is that it will take a string and check whether your string is containing that particular string. If I put is in here, we get true. So this thing returns boolean. And when we put is in here, it will search it up on our string. So our string is containing this particular string right in here. So let me make it a little bit bigger. As you can see, it is containing this keyword is in here. Therefore, when we type is, A is containing that string. Therefore, this whole thing getting replaced by true. We print out true. So this getting replaced by might confuse you a little bit. We are gonna see them in functions. For just now, just try to memorize it. But in functions, you are gonna see that it actually means return. So what about I put a string? So as you can see, we have a in here, right? We have the keyword string in here. What do you think will happen in this case? We get false. Why? Because even though our string contains all of the letters that is described in this particular string, this our main string is not specifically containing this substring, this particular string, because in that case, if it contained this string, it would have looked like this. As you can see, in this case, it is containing this substring. But because we have space in here, this thing is not this main string is not containing this particular string. Therefore, we get false. So let's now see index of index of. So we are gonna check a particular string, and if that string appears in our main string, we are gonna get the index of that string. So what I mean is, if I put is in here, we get 2. Why? Because T is the 0th index, H is the first index, this is the second index, right? This is the second index. So because this is the second index, and because this second index is containing our particular string is, we get 2 printed out. So we print out the first occurrence of this particular string. So let me do another example. If I put H in here, we get 1. Why? Because this is 0th index. This is the first index. So first index is containing this particular substring. So we get 1 printed out. If I put A in here, we get 8. Why? This is the 0th index. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8. As you can see, in 8th index, we first see the particular string that we have described in here. Therefore, we print out the index of that particular string. If I put the keyword string in here, we get 10. Why? Because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the 10th index. Starting from the 10th index, we have this particular string. Therefore, we print out the 10th index. Okay, so that's basically the index of method. Oh, I forgot something. What about I put, let's say, P in here? P, yeah. What about I put P in here? What do you think we will get? We get -1. Why? Because this main string doesn't contain this particular string. Therefore, we get -1. If I put W in here, we get -1. If I put Q in here, we get -1. Because these particular strings are not occurring in our main string. Okay. Now let's see the replace function. Replace. So this replace function basically takes 2 parameters, x and y. So they are both strings, and the syntax is like this. Oops. I should put comma in here. Okay. Oops. So your string, this replace function will check this first string and replace that first string with the second string. So what I mean is, if I put A in here and if I put J in here, we get this is J string. Why? Because it will search for A, it finds A in here, it replaces it with J. But what you need to pay attention is that, so A J is that this replace function, oops, I made a mistake. Okay, so this replace function doesn't change your original string, so that's important. So what I mean is, as you can see, I put a dot replace for so when you see this keyword a string a, replace it with j, right? So this is what we did in here. We replaced a with j, but we didn't change our main string, which is a. When I try to print out a, we get this is a string, which is actually our original string. What this replace function does is that it creates another string. So it creates another string like this, while not changing our original string. Therefore, if you want to change your original string too, you should have used this syntax: a equals to a dot place a j. In this way, you are also changing your original string. Why? Because this replace function creates another string. So a dot replace a to j. So we have a here. We are gonna take this whole string, okay, replace a with j, and then we assign this to our original string. In this way, our original string is now replaced. As you can see, it no longer contains a. So what do you think will happen if I put is in here? So we get thj is a string. Why? Because this replace function replaced just the first occurrence of is in our function. So what I mean is, in our string we have two occurrences of is, right? We have is in here, we have is in here, we have two occurrences of is. So we say replace is to j, and it replaces the first occurrences of is to j and prints out. And that's all. So that's it for this video. These are just the properties that I want to teach you. If you want to learn more, you can always Google them up. So that's it for this video. If you have any question, please leave a comment and have a great day.